With thousands of stocks to choose from, it can be difficult to identify the few that deserve a spot in your portfolio. Thankfully, there are YouTubers like myself that research stocks full-time and can highlight excellent stocks for investors to consider. Today, I will reveal 22 stocks that are on the top of my rankings for September of 2024. As a word of caution, I will go through this list relatively quickly, and I highly recommend you conduct further due diligence before adding any of these stocks to your portfolios. That being said, let's take a look at some of my favorite stocks right now, and as a bonus, I'll reveal how my list of stocks has performed against the S&P 500 index so far in 2024. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. Alright, I will go through my list in two separate batches, starting with the first batch here, and those include Visa, Alphabet, the Walt Disney Company, NVDA, AMD, Chewy, Target, Nike, Amazon, Micron Technology, eBay, and the Home Depot. Now, the first interesting thing to note with this group of stocks is the valuation. Now, I've highlighted the forward price to earnings ratio for each of these stocks, and you'll notice the most expensive stock on this list, according to this valuation metric, is Amazon at a forward PE of 30.83. And some of the cheaper stocks have valuations in the low double digits like Micron Technology and eBay, which are trading at forward price to earnings of 10 and 11 respectively. Valuation is a key consideration in my investing framework, and it's no coincidence that this batch of stocks has a low valuation premium. Now, you'll also see that NVIDIA is on this list, and in fact, NVIDIA has been on this list all year long, and there's a misconception in the marketplace that NVIDIA stock is expensive, having already soared over 100% in 2024. However, when you measure NVIDIA stock with the valuation metric like the forward price to earnings ratio, you'll notice that NVIDIA stock is not that expensive because NVIDIA stock justifies that price increase with an increase in profits and increase in cash flow. The company has backed up the price increases with increasing performance. And that's why I've reiterated my recommendation for NVIDIA stock all year long. NVIDIA stock has been on my list of top stocks to buy all year long because every quarter it continues to deliver phenomenal revenue, profit, and cash flow growth that supports an increasing valuation. You're getting more for what you're paying for NVIDIA stock. The next batch of stocks on my list include Coca-Cola, Snap, Fiverr International, Uber Technologies, Salesforce, PayPal, Meta Platforms, Zoom Video Communication, Netflix, Alibaba, and UiPath. Now, a couple of interesting things to note with this batch of stocks, and then you'll probably have noticed I highlighted more than 22 stocks. Actually, I highlighted 23 stocks, but that's because Coca-Cola stock has been on my list of top stocks to buy all year long, but I'm taking it off my list here today. Coca-Cola stock has already performed really well, better than expected in 2024, and the valuation is getting a little rich for a company like Coca-Cola that doesn't have that strong of growth expectations in the future. So I think this is an excellent time to take Coca-Cola off of my list of top stocks to buy. Lock in the gains that we have in Coca-Cola stock year to date in 2024, which I will share with you in the next half of the video. So that's why you see more stocks here, but I'm taking Coca-Cola off of my list of top stocks to buy here today in this video. So with regards to performance, you'll notice that the best performing stock on my list is NVIDIA, which has already delivered 141% gains year to date. And in the first batch, most of the stocks are positive, only one negative in this batch, and that is Nike, that has had a difficult year, and its total return is negative 22% year to date in 2024. In the second batch of stocks that I highlighted, the performance is more mixed. You'll have some big negatives here with UiPath and Snap, down 48% and 44% respectively. However, I only added UiPath stock on my list of top stocks to buy around May or June. So that was after the stock was already down about 30% year to date. And so those losses are roughly 18 to 25% for UiPath stock since I recommended it as a top stock to buy. And then you have others that are negative as well, like Zoom Video Communications, Salesforce, and Fiverr International. However, I still like these stocks even though their prices have declined. Now, Coca-Cola, which I'm taking off my list today, has already delivered 25% total price return for investors, which is an excellent rate of return for a relatively safe investment like Coca-Cola stock. I would have been happy with total price returns for a full year of 9 to 10% with Coca-Cola stock, having received 25% already year to date. I think the company has exceeded expectations in 2024, so it's a good time to take profits with Coca-Cola stock. Now, I'm going to compare the average return of my portfolio against the S&P 500 index, which is also having an excellent year. It's already up 18.72% year to date in 2024. Now, note here, Six Flags Entertainment stock, it's up 32.78% as of July 1st. Now, I took Six Flags Entertainment stock off of my list last month in July. And so I'm going to include the results up until July 1st for Six Flags Entertainment in my portfolio. But last month, I told investors this was the stock to take profits and remove from my list. Just like today, I'm removing Coca-Cola stock and highlighting that it's a good time to take profits with Coca-Cola stock. All right, so if we look at my portfolio return, which one note I make here is that for UiPath, I removed the losses. I adjusted the losses to minus 30% from minus 48% because I recommended UiPath stock around May, June, and the stock is down about 18 to 23%, but I still just took a bigger loss here, negative 30%, to make it, be on the conservative side of reporting my portfolio performance because the numbers here are not precise. The dates and measurements are not precise. So I'd rather make it look more negative because I am not making precise measurements here in the portfolio performance. And so I'd rather make it, if I'm not being precise, I'd rather err on the side of reporting my performance more negative rather than more positive. And so if you look at my total portfolio performance year to date, it's 14.28%, which is a solid rate of return. I would be happy with that rate of return for all of 2024. However, the S&P 500 is having an even better year. That's up 18.72% year to date. And so far, I'm underperforming the S&P 500 by 4.4 percentage points in 2024. Now, you'll remember maybe 3 months ago when my numbers were well ahead of the S&P 500 and I warned you all not to expect that kind of outperformance, and that has came to pass. Right now I'm trailing the S&P 500, whereas in the first half of the year I was well ahead of the S&P 500 in terms of comparative performance. But I didn't expect that to continue for the rest of the year, and I was telling you all every month not to expect my outperformance to continue for the rest of the year, because if I could outperform the S&P 500 index by a reasonable margin, then I probably wouldn't be on YouTube making videos. I would probably be managing a portfolio of millions or tens of millions or even more money. It's difficult to outperform the S&P 500 index. Not very many people do so. And so I don't expect myself to beat the S&P 500 index by a meaningful margin in every single year. So while I do expect performance fluctuations, I think over time the performance will be narrower than the negative I reported this month, and also narrower than the positives I reported in previous months. As always, take these videos as information only. Conduct your own due diligence before making any decisions, and just take this as a list to consider doing further research on. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I know there's a lot you could be doing with your time and a lot of other videos you could be watching. So I truly appreciate that you chose to watch this one. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe or the like button. They'll both help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you again.